Flo, you've been in this game a while, man. How do you tell the guys to flush it and just forget about it and move on it, or is that just easier said than done?
I think it's already done. Learn from it. Get ready for today. I think everyone's got our normal mindset on a daily basis. We're coming out there. We're going to compete and see what happens.
Go ahead, Bo.
Tyler, what was the biggest difference you saw from Flo, in July compared to, that last week of the regular season, those two starts?
I'm sorry, Bo.
What's that?
Say that again for me, Bo.
Oh, for Bryse Wilson, what was the biggest difference you saw from him there in July, during summer camp to the final week of the regular season?
I think definitely like his body language and presence and confidence that he's carrying around is a little different. He knows he's got good stuff. He believes in it, and he's not afraid to use it. In addition to that, he incorporated the two seam a lot more than we used to. And I think that's really helping him be able to throw his four seam up in the zone, give him a little more margin on the off-speed pitches. But he's really done a great job trusting both of his fastballs, trusting his defense, challenging guys.
How big of a weapon can that two-seamer be? I mean, is it a similar difference as with Kyle? Just that pitch alone, just adding that one pitch?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a different look. It's a higher velocity coming at you. His four seam plays up even more than the numbers on the scoreboard. He's one of those guys with that rise effect to his four seam. Those guys are tough to hit, and you have to make some mental adjustments as far as where you're trying to hit the ball off of a guy like that to hit line drive. So suddenly, if it's not that one that you're playing a little bit different, it's harder to square that one up too. So kind of keeping them guessing on which one it's going to be really gives you a little more margin for error. And again, having two of those weapons, one running in on you, one running up, really helps his off-speed pitches.
Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry, Kelly, I think you're on mute.
You'd think I had learned how to do this by now. Flo, just to revisit last night, something Smolty said in the booth, and it kind of hit me, was he said, probably a veteran pitcher on this Atlanta staff maybe steps up to Kyle and tells him that, like, you got to forget about this one because we need you to get to where we're going. Do you know if something like that happened? I mean, is that something you would do? Is that a conversation you would have? Or does Kyle even need that? Is he a guy that already knows that kind of thing?
I think he's definitely wise beyond his years. So I think he knew it. Of course, whenever you go through anything difficult, especially early in your career, at least for me, it always went back to like, shoot, am I good enough? You start to question yourself. So I think even if he already knows, in the third inning yesterday in the clubhouse, even if he already knows how he feels about it and he's going to utilize it, it's always good to hear it from some of your teammates, maybe even some coaches. But I think he knows he was a big part of us getting here. And in order for us to win this whole thing, he's going to be a big part of it at least a couple more times.
Go to you, Bo.
What is it that, teammates say to Noah after he did what he did last night? And, just how impressed were you and how big could those 4 innings be?
Well, I think they're huge. Again, being an interesting series, just game after game after game, to have someone go out there and be very successful, first off. But really, I think he did a lot for himself, too, his confidence. Having something like that happen out there, followed up by Greeny coming in and Webb. Those guys haven't thrown in a couple days, so it really worked out great for them to get out there, basically get a bullpen setting kind of thing in the energy and atmosphere that we're in, where we really didn't lose any of our major pieces. There's not as much concern about a Matzek or Minter or Melanson. They kind of got their day. But that only happens when Noah steps up like that. And he really did throw the ball great the whole time.
Back to you, Zach.
Hey, Flo, I'm curious, what do you prefer and what's less taxing on the body? Playing potentially 7 games in a row or 2 in a city, flying overnight, getting in 3 in the morning, that type of situation?
Good question. Hadn't really thought about it. I'll say this, I like this a lot better with my kids and wife here instead of trying to get on a flight with 5 kids numerous times. So I'm enjoying that part of it, just unpacking once at the other place and packing it and then unpacking here until the end. So that's kind of nice in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. To your point, every time you take a flight, your body's going through dehydration and such, and oftentimes it's not good for you. So I guess you could kind of look at it either way.
Back to you, Kelly.
If you don't find this too rudimentary, what is it that you are trying to do on the days that you're not starting with this group right now in the postseason? Like, who do you talk to? What does your day look like?
It's a lot of homework. All of us, Sal, Travis, myself, Alex Hammond, Cranny. Really, most every day I'm kind of in there. I'm definitely not ready for this stage, but kind of like a coach. I understand the situation we're in behind the plate right now. I knew yesterday, very early in that game, that there was a very good chance I was going to get in there, and if it wasn't going to happen, I was going to ask and say that this should probably happen. This is a good opportunity to get him off his feet. The way he swung the bat this year is just amazing, consistent. He's got a really good idea what he's doing, and obviously in the situation we're in, we're going to put the best offensive lineup out there that we can, and he's a huge part of that throughout this whole season and definitely the postseason.
Go ahead, Skylar.
Sorry about that. Along the same lines of the issue of the travel being different with no travel, game 5 coming up under normal circumstances, you'd probably have your number 1 starter and not really have to think much about it. But in this situation, it could be kind of a bullpen game or whatever. How do you view that part of it? Where I know it's not unusual to play 7 games in a row, but to do it in the playoffs is a little bit different. And how does it change that dynamic?
That's more of like a SNIT question, I think, than really for me to answer. I think you can't worry about it till you get there, kind of thing. I'm sure they have internal discussions and have different options and possibilities that they might want to use, depending upon the situation of the series at that time. But, being a player, I'm not a coach yet. Being a player, I'm just focused on today and how can I help Travis and Bryce Wilson have success today out there.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Hey, Tyler, I wanted to ask about just the role of Sal for you guys. And I think just lately you being able to get the specialists to work with catchers, what you and Travis and him have sat down and kind of how much that's helped you guys with game planning and everything that you guys do behind the plate.
Yeah, but Sal's an impressive human, first off. He's an impressive catcher as well. And he's got one heck of a mind on him. He looks at the game a little different than anyone I've come across. I think I'm somewhat similar, but not near as in depth as he is. So, he's really enlightened me over these last few years, and I think definitely progressed my game behind the plate, and especially pitch calling and understanding why and what sequences are successful against these types of hitters. I think Travis had some of that early in his career with Sal when he was real young in Toronto, but I know he's really embraced it as well, coming back with him and getting back learning and understanding different things, and I think he picked up some things in Tampa as well, but I think we take it a few steps further than even what they try to do.